It is Sunday, May 25th, 2025. So, I just want to share with you some updates with my pond. Um, this is one of the maintenance on the pond. It's about aeration, or if you call it on the other way, air compressor. So as you can see, there's micro bubbles showing. That micro bubbles came from a smaller aerator. That one. If your pond is like this size, as you can see, it's barely supply air. And if your pond is size, I'm talking with the size of the pond and how it's correlated with the air that you will oxygenate the water for your crayfish or fish will be able to survive. So here's what's going on. My aerator, or the machine that provides air, is not working properly. As you can see from there, it's really tiny. The bubbles coming out from the pipe. So here's the pipe. So you will I just want to share with you for you to be able to I just wanted to share my experience that there's a maintenance on aeration. So I bought the machine to produce air. It's called in the fish world or pond world aerator, or in layman's term air compressor. I just bought it for a year, but it's already needs maintenance. Oh, that's so sad. So here's the bubbles showing up. That's the only bubbles you can see. And the aerator needs to produce this side to this side. And this tarp pond is having some holes on it. It cannot retain the water, so it's run dry. And I put some netting on the top for my guppies because there were predation. The frogs eat up the guppies, and as you can see, there were bubbles from there below the net. But the bubbles on this large pond is not working. So what I'm trying to say is, if you use smaller aerator with the large pond, it cannot sustain, it cannot provide the right amount of oxygen. Especially with my setup here, I have another pond, another tarp pond. Here's my gold guppies, and below it another aerator that it will provide some oxygenated water, but it's not working. As you can see, there's no bubbles. So this is one of my aerator here, right? This is the air stone. This is a plastic air stone because it will clog. So for this video, I just share with you what if you have a large aerator machine and the bubbles is really tiny, even if it's in a full capacity, that means your aerator pump is broken. Okay, That's the indicator. So this is the pond. This is my pond right now. So this pond, what I'm trying to do with this pond is I'm trying to replicate the pond in Australia. From their farming, you know, if you can see it on this on YouTube, Australian farming on crayfish or freshwater lobster, they just let the crayfish produce in a small lake or like a dam in their ranch, and then they set up a trap and then harvest it after like 6 months. So what I'm trying to do here with my pond is I will not disturb them. I just let them reproduce on their own. Because with this smaller setup, you need to get the buried or pregnant crayfish, then separate, isolate. On my setup, I just put a screen on the drainage so that the smaller ones will not escape. Then the setup of the pipes is really tight. There were larger hides for larger ones, but there's also smaller hole that those tiny babies can also hide. And then plants, driftwood. And now let's go back to the problem. The bubbles is really tiny, right? And there's a strong aeration from here, but as you can see, the pipes, there's a lot of connections, but I don't think if the stones are clogged, because on this tank there's a tilapia and Oscar monster fish, and as you can see, the outlet is almost at the surface on the top of the water, but it's really slow. So what I did, I tried to use this smaller aerator and try to test if it will produce some air on this tank, because what I'm planning to do is I've got a lot of hose or pipes, smaller ones like this, the silicone pipe like this. I can connect it and put some stone, and what I'm thinking is I can save more electricity if I'm using the smaller aerator machine or a smaller air compressor. But I'm disappointed because the aerator, if you have smaller aerator, it can only produce like this. It's not enough though, because as you can see, I have some tanks from here, so I can put some buried females, and my buried females died. Here there's a dead female crayfish. So as you can see, there's an aerator. It's really slow. Another aerator, and I just set up pipes for the. I wanted also to put some buried females from this tray, like a vertical setup, but I'm afraid that they will escape. So the proper way is to put them like this and then put a lid or put a cover on the top like this one. So as you can see, if you have a pond, right, and tanks, and you wanted to use this aerator, I'm afraid it cannot support the the area or the tanks and the pond at the same time, right? So here's the aerator. It's quite noisy because of vibrations on this wall, but usually this should be quite enough. So I bet the video is too long right now. I'm just showing you what is the indicator. If you have a large aerator like this, actually this is not kind of the maximum aerator, but the maximum of this would be 200 wattage. We call it LP 200 for the brand is Resun, made in Japan, but most of it made in China. So the one that I have is Resun 100, LP 100. This LP 100, when I bought this, I enjoy the force or its ability to produce air. And when the time passes by, I just upgraded my piping at the top. I run some pipes from here and there. Then I created valves like this and extend the length of the air that it can provide some aeration. So if you check on YouTube, if you use aerator machine, right, it has limitation that it depends on the depth or how was the length the height of the water from below, so that it can because if you submerge, for example, the stone, this is the aerator stone, it will help submerge the silicone pipe to produce air. But if this submerged below at the floor level, it cannot produce some air. So you need to adjust the level that it still the air can still flow, right? Now for this video I just wanted to share with you the indicator that when I newly bought this, when it's new, it's really strong enough to produce bubbles on this side, from this side, up beyond to those side. But now, as you can see, it's barely. You cannot see any bubbles at all, right? It's really it's having a huge difference as before. Now I would like to create a long video to share my experience as well in how to prevent this. However, I'm not sure if you can still be able to see a long video, so I will create a video on how will I fix this problem and how to avoid it. So see you in the next video, okay? Thank you for watching.